I'm Alan Weiss, and this is The Writing on the Wall. Hi, welcome back to Writing on the Wall. This is episode 117, when I was in grammar school. Yeah, that's right. I went to Hudson School in Union City, New Jersey. I believe it is still there. I don't know if it still functions as a grammar school. It used to be a cheese factory. That's right, it was a cheese factory converted to a grammar school, and it had a residual population of rats who never understood it had stopped being a cheese factory. I guess there was enough residue left behind. My mother went to that grammar school. I used to get books from 1930s with my mother's name written in it as the student. Can you imagine this? And that's where I went to school. And in Hudson Grammar School, about once or twice a month, a nurse and doctor came to our classroom, no matter what grade you were in, and they checked your hair for lice, girls and boys, and had a tongue depressor. They went through your hair, and if they found lice, they sent you home. Note to your parents, and you couldn't come back until you had proof from your doctor the lice were gone. About once a month they came in and they checked the overweights and underweights. And the kids who weighed more than they should have for their age, or who weighed too little for their age, had a yellow card. And the yellow card had their progress. And they'd be taken to the nurse's station elsewhere in the school. They'd be weighed, the notation would be made, and their parents would be notified if they were making progress in losing or gaining weight. Once a month, common occurrence. Every morning, you recited the Pledge of Allegiance. And while I was in grammar school, they changed it, and they inserted the phrase, under God. And it was, I pledge allegiance to the flag, put your hand over your heart, United States of America, one nation, and then you said, under God, indivisible, and so forth. Today, most people don't know the Pledge of Allegiance. We also said the Lord's Prayer. No one sued us. Our Father who art in heaven. Didn't matter what religion you were. Didn't matter if you had religion. Everybody said the Lord's Prayer. The teachers dressed well. The men wore suits and ties. The women wore suits. They looked professional and respectable. Teachers I see today, they could be hauling trash. I know, it's a new age. Sorry, doesn't look good and it doesn't impress me. There were open houses where you came in, talked to the teachers about the kids' work, and the open houses were in the evenings. Teachers were expected to come in the evenings and hold this open house for whatever grade. Today, try to get teachers to come in the evening so that working parents can actually attend the open house. When do they have them? If they have them, during the day, during their normal school hours. We were taught to write cursive, and we wrote cursive in books using an inkwell and a stick pen. One of my jobs was to fill the inkwells from this giant pot. My heart was in my throat. This was like indelible ink. That's how we wrote. We were told to stand in line by size order and keep quiet. There was a category on our report cards that said deportment or comportment or some such thing. I never did very well, but you were expected to toe the line. Literally, you were expected to obey. We learned the 8 parts of speech. And the 8 parts of speech at that time were, let's see, a verb, adverb, noun, pronoun, adjective, conjunction, preposition, interjection. Wow. Wow is an interjection. And those 8 parts of speech were very valuable in terms of my learning how to write. We learned how to diagram a sentence. I can still diagram sentences. Yeah, by the way, my 63rd and 64th books will be out by the time you see this video. I've written maybe 23 million words, over 500 articles, scores of columns, because I learned the 8 parts of speech and how to diagram a sentence. We took dance and art and music. They were mandatory in a cheese factory, a former cheese factory. In a gym was a classroom with all the seats removed. That was our gym, an empty classroom. And then we had a schoolyard, a macadam schoolyard. But once a week, they'd put on 45 records, and we were taught to dance, so we danced with raging hormones, and it was quite interesting. Once a month or so, a special teacher came in and taught us art, light and perspective. Once a month or so, a special teacher came in and taught us music, what classical music was, what Baroque music was. And we had to do this. We were marked on it. We all had to take gym. There were no excuses. You couldn't not take gym because you were conscientiously opposed to exercise. You had to take gym. We all exercised. We all played competitive games. And there was competition. Some of us won, some of us lost. No one was rewarded for simply playing. If you didn't play, you got in trouble. There were no awards for showing up. The only awards were for achievement. And we learned how to compete. The thing about it is, it was more important than my high school and undergraduate training in college. One of those 64 books is dedicated to all those grammar school teachers. I've never forgotten them, I've never forgotten the experience, and here I am, and here you sit.